Good afternoon and welcome to the Texan Sports Report. I'm your host, Tyler McDonough, joined by my co-host, Ivery. We've got a few sports to talk about, so I will kick things off with soccer. The Lions are coming off 2 straight wins against Texas Women's and Midwestern State. The Lions have won 3 out of their last 4 games, have been playing really well lately. They travel tonight to take on Angelo State, the Ram Bells, in a conference game that is big-time implications. The Lions are 4 points back from the Ram Bells. They look to keep things going. They've played really well here in this second part of conference, or into the first half of conference. So they played really well, so they look to keep things up. Michelle Kotlick and Sabrina Mungia look to keep things going for the Lions if they've been on a scoring streak here. I mean, they've been really getting tons of goals. Kotlick leads with 5 and Mungia leads with 4, so they look to keep things going there.
It's a dynamic duo right there. Mm-hmm. As for football, you guys, the number 7 ranked Lions face off against the number 16 ranked Tarleton State Texans at 4 p.m. on Ernest Hawkins Field at Memorial Stadium. They face off for the President's Cup on Youth Sports Day. The Lions have won 6 straight President's Cups and the last 6 games versus Tarleton State, 5 President's Cups and 1 Lone Star Conference playoff game. This will be the Lions' 3rd ranked matchup of the season. The 2018 senior class is on pace to set the school record for wins in a 4-year span with 5 games guaranteed left in this season. So they look to take over from last year's club that was really dominant.
Well, let's hope things do pan out and we get to play tomorrow because weather or rain is in the forecast. So game could get moved to Sunday. As of right now, they're still going to try and play it at 4 p.m. tomorrow, but rain has – I do have heard some rumors that the game might be postponed until Sunday. But as of right now, still looking on pace for tomorrow. So.
And one last note, the Lions have defeated their last 5 undefeated teams, 2 being last year in the playoff run in Central Washington and Minnesota State. They have defeated A&M Kingsville, William Jewell, and Midwestern State University, Texas this season.
Go. So the men and women's golf programs are just about done with their fall season. The men just competed at the RMAC Preview, in which they got 7th. Blake Hartford and Lucas McCubbin led the Lions. The Lions will be next week at Midwestern State, Monday and Tuesday, to close out their fall schedule. The women were at Dallas Baptist. They placed 5th place. Sarah Wongsith led the Lions once again as she shot even par. They'll be next in action October 22nd and 23rd in Albuquerque, New Mexico, as they compete at Fort Lewis.
They're really stepping it up.
Yeah, the women
showing out.
Yeah, unfortunately the men have not been playing that well, but the women are doing. They're playing a lot good. They're playing real well this year. So
doing good as a joint effort. So that's what matters. The golf team is doing just fine. As for the volleyball team, though, they're the number 22 ranked team in the AVCA coaches poll as they face number 15 ranked Tarleton State on Friday, and then Angelo State on Saturday. That game tonight will be at 6 p.m. and tomorrow's game will be at 1 p.m. in the Fieldhouse. The Lions have a 17-4 record, riding a 10-game win streak as they are 9-2 in the Lone Star Conference.
They've got roughly what their win streak is going right now. The volleyball team's been playing really well right now. They haven't lost at all last year, didn't lose at all this year, so they really look to keep things going. That volleyball program, Coach Case has got them playing so good right now. Volleyball program is looking great. So
definitely. And the last game, Jaron Wacker led the Lions in kills with 13 in a sweep of Midwestern State University, Texas. And Riley Fuentes led the team with 16 assists. So this is a pretty dominant volleyball team. They're still picking it up from where they left off last year. Still undefeated at home, still being a dominant team, and staying in the ranked.
Couple close calls last week against.
Yes. A lot of 5-game sets going on lately, but they're pulling it out. They've made comebacks. They're really in championship form. I think they can compete for the championship this year. Those teams that don't let games get away, that they're behind, they come back. They can get everything done.
Huge weekend against Tarleton, and Angelo. Both games, they're right behind them in the standings. So if they can beat both of them, they'll be tied for first. And if they can win both of those games, so. Right now, both the men's and women's cross-country teams are competing here in Commerce at Centennial Park. We'll have updates on lineathletics.com, and we'll have an updated story tonight on tmuceasttexan.com about the women and how they do in their cross-country meet. I do know that the women were led by Brandy Stadler right now. I believe the men are still running as of things are going right now, but Brandy Stadler's led the Lions all year in cross-country, so she has really run well for them this year.
Shout out to the cross-country team. I know that's not something fun for me that I had to do back in high school. It was not a fun experience. But as far as the softball team goes, they've been doing a little bit of action in fall ball, but unfortunately they had a game scheduled on Saturday, and per Mr. McDonough over here, rain is a problem.
Rain still in the forecast. They're not going to be able to play The Division I team, Baylor, they did beat them last year in a game, so
Right.
not going to get the chance to beat up on the Baylor Bears again this year.
But there is some good news announced last week that 14 Lions were named to the 17-18 Easton/NFCA Scholar Athletes. And those consist...
Was I on that list?
You're not a softball player.
Oh, I think you said student athlete. My bad. Okay, sorry.
Student athletes on the softball team, buddy.
Okay. I probably wouldn't have been on it anyway. So.
These athletes consist of Lacey Bullard, Monica Cherry, Katie Dean, Kinsey Hebler, Bailey Higgs, Chloe Horn, Mariah Jameson, Kayla Kilcrease, Sierra Nunez, Bree Sims, Chelsea Slider, Allie Thompson, Precious Thompson, and Alex Van Sickle. Shout out to those ladies being best in class.
Yeah. And we'll close things out with the men and women's basketball program. Yes, basketball is right around the corner. The women will start off practice first Monday, and then the men will be right after them, I believe, same day.
Men will be first at 2 o'clock.
Men are at 2, the women are at 4:30?
Right after.
Okay, that'll be this Monday, so I believe it's a closed practice, so might not be able to get in there and watch, but basketball is here. It's right around the corner.
Right.
The women start November 1st. Men are November 8th. Those are the first games. Practice this Monday, so basketball is here.
Men are bringing back most of their team from last year.
That's good.
As opposed to the year before, where they only brought back a couple of players to contend for the next season. This women's team, they lost a lot of depth from their last season. Lost their leading scorers, and I believe she was 4th all-time in Artasia Gay in points. So it's going to be a kind of a rebuild season with this really young team. Half the team is freshmen, so it's going to be an uphill battle for these young ladies.
Still got Princess Davis and Jocelyn Pierce, so they look to lead the Lions this year. I would expect both of them to play well. Jocelyn's just a sophomore, but I mean she's going to have to step up and be a veteran on that team. Just as a sophomore. So.
And Princess is on her way to lead the Lone Star Conference. Or I guess it might be the Lions. It's just the Lions. In assists, I believe she's ranked 3rd or 4th right now. Don't quote me on this, but she is in the top 5, and she will get up there this season.
Yes, she will.
For all things, you can check out on tmuceasttexan.com and follow us on social media.